I'm Proletariat Prince, and this is the first video in my Threshold Concepts series. Today, we're going to be talking about the concept I like to call bodies at problems, aka learning through doing. And to illustrate some of the points I'm making, we're going to be watching some footage from one of my Witcher 3 Wild Hunt streams. This footage came from one of my first few streams of this game, and I am fighting a monster that I am not prepared for, and it shows, because it took me about an hour and a half to beat a fight that should have taken about 2 minutes. Now, I know what you're going to ask, or maybe I don't, but I think I know. And what you're about to ask is, what the hell does this game have to do with bodies at problems? So the basic concept behind bodies at problems is learning through doing, aka learning through doing, right? But learning through doing is the simple definition, and I want to offer up some more complexity to this issue. So the first thing that I want to talk about is situated learning. What is situated learning? Situated learning is learning which involves using students' prior knowledge to build connection between concepts.
Did it work?
Right?
Did it work?
I have prior knowledge. I transfer my knowledge from one situation to another situation. I use this to build new skills. Now, sometimes we have situations of negative transfer where the skills that I already have don't really apply to the new situation, so I'm not really able to accomplish the task I'm trying to accomplish. Sometimes we have positive transfer, and positive transfer is something that occurs in deep learning. Well, not always in deep learning, but ideally in deep learning. And so that is the story that the concept Bodies at Problems is trying to tell. It's a philosophy about deeper learning and transfer of knowledge. A common issue we have is sometimes the fear of failure overwhelms our desire to experience something new. I certainly knew, coming into the Witcher game, that I was probably not very well versed in this kind of game. I don't even really know what to call it still. Apparently it's an RPG. What the fuck does that mean? I guess that just means there's a really complicated character formation screen, which, I mean, that's kind of like Bioshock, and Bioshock is my favorite game. So obviously, coming into this game, there was a very steep learning curve that I had to overcome in order to really enjoy the game and not be frustrated out of my mind by it. And one thing you should know about me is I am terrible with tutorials. I do not understand what the tutorial is trying to explain to me. I do not learn. This may come as a surprise to some people because I am definitely the reader, right? But I don't actually learn through reading itself so much as I learn through applying concepts that I've learned to other situations that I've experienced. Learning through doing. And this fight was a major moment for me when it comes to learning through doing, learning through experiencing. Because I, in this moment, to beat this fight that I could not get out of, I had to learn a lot of very important, very basic game mechanics that I didn't really understand before coming into it. One of the most important of those things was my familiarity with my inventory and understanding what the hell I was carrying around and what I could do with it. And I never quite figure out, even though you see me use the alchemy potions accidentally so many times in these clips, I never really figure them out. They're probably what helped me, at least in part, win this fight. But other elements of my inventory, such as the food and drink, which I call snacks, the different types of weapons that I have available, like the crossbow, the silver sword, the steel sword. I did actually try to use a steel sword to fight a monster, which, if you know The Witcher, you know that you're supposed to use the silver sword to do that. In fact, he will automatically pull out a silver sword when he is faced with a monster. Then there are also the little magic things he does. He can light things on fire, he can shove things away from him, he can create magic traps. I have a lot of issue understanding what the magic trap is for at first. I try using this shield, that doesn't really work out. Eventually, I get to a point where I'm so frustrated with this fight, and I'm so frustrated with how dark this room is. There's an alchemy potion for that, by the way, that I did not know about. That I just kind of give up, and I run around the room trying to light the different torches that I have just discovered you can light. At one point, I discover a chest in the back of the room, but I don't realize that I can't look through it because I'm engaged in a fight. The person who is fighting with me doesn't seem to be doing any damage, and that really frustrates me as well. I seem to have some sense of the rhythm of the game and the pattern of attacking and dodging. And also that's probably just my rhythm that I come to most games with, where I attack and then I run away from things. But for some reason, all of these skills that I already have that I'm throwing at this fight don't seem to be helping me. In fact, they even hurt me. So, as I continue on, I grow increasingly more frustrated and increasingly more annoyed that this isn't working.
Oh, that's why!
Because if I can't win this fight, what does that say about me? Am I not a real gamer? Am I bad at video games?
Okay, now
Or
I feel like we're getting...
do I just not have this game as one of my literacies? So let's talk about the concept of literacies real quick. Traditional thinking about literacies tells us that literacy is our knowledge of a language. I understand English, therefore I'm literate in English. I can communicate, I can read, I can write in English. I can speak to other people who are speaking English. I am not literate in Spanish. I know a few words of Spanish. I can count to 10 in Spanish. I cannot communicate to other people in Spanish because I do not have that as one of my literacies. Now the cool thing is, literacies apply to more than just language. Literacies apply to all semiotic domains. And what that means is all forms of symbols have literacies attached to them. Right now, I'm working on this voice recording on the program called Audacity. And there are a bunch of little symbols in front of me. And in order to use this program, I need to have a literacy of those symbols, of the semiotic domain, of Audacity, so that I can properly create the voiceover for the video. Now, this is a complex process, and it's taken me quite a long time to record a very, very short piece of audio. But as I continue to work with this program, I build a greater literacy of it. And this is the same with The Witcher. As I continue fighting, as I'm trying different methods to try to beat this monster and recognizing that the different approaches that I'm taking are not successful because I keep dying, I am combining different attacks. I'm trying new different keys. I'm accidentally hitting buttons and then realizing that those buttons were doing things that I wasn't able to do before. And in this way, I am being analytical and critical of what I'm doing. And I am approaching this game in a way that we call deep transfer. Now, of course, that's a whole lot of jargon. So what's going on? What's going on is I'm learning through doing. By making mistakes and seeing where I have succeeded and where I have failed, I am building a larger understanding, a larger literacy of the game. And as I build that literacy, I understand how I can win fights, what kind of tools I have to apply to fights that I am in, and other methods and practices that I can use towards this game. Okay, what does that have to do with this channel? Why is it a threshold concept? Well, let's go back to the fear of failure. It often happens that our fear of failure prevents us from doing things that we'd like to do, more than anything else. But an important thing to note is that no matter how much research you do, no matter how much advice you get, nothing is ever going to be as instructive for you as actually experiencing something.
Whether or not
you could receive all of the dating advice in the world that you could possibly get, and that still will not help you on your very first date. Because your very first date is something that you've never experienced before. So, how do we learn?
Hold shift while pressing.
We just have to do it.
Get away from me! I do not have enough fingers to play.
Now that's easy for me to say, isn't it? I don't have your experience. I don't have your knowledge. I don't have your understanding of the world, do I?
And I need my fingers
However,
to actually work.
The really cool, really fun, very sexy, and very important thing to remember is that not all situations learning have to be high stakes.
Because then,
in fact, one of the best ways to learn is through play. Video games give us opportunities to explore new literacies in structured ways that take away the high stakes and anxiety of performing in the real world. And digital communities give us the opportunity to explore relationships and community building in similarly low stakes scenarios, where being part of your community is less perceived by your social standing within the community and more in the ways that you participate within that community. The community literacies that you have cultivated. And over time, as we grow more experienced in our literacies, our stamina to withstand failure and rejection grows. And we become stronger and more confident in our capabilities because we have seen our ability to apply knowledge we already have to new situations.
It's okay. It's okay.
When we don't allow ourselves to explore,
We're more than halfway there. We found
to
a
learn,
thing that works.
to
We found
grow,
a thing that works.
to play,
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
we cut ourselves off from very important avenues of meaning making and knowledge creation.
No! Get
Sometimes
away!
the first step isn't a big step, it's a baby step. A baby step, like picking up a game you've never played before. That looks really fun, like you really enjoy it. And not giving up when you face difficulty. Viewing that difficulty, viewing the challenges you face as small steps from a larger journey. And each failure that you experience is not really failure at all, but rather a small part of the larger body of literacies that you are building. And so, bodies of problems, aka
No, thank you.
learning through doing. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Okay, now we're going. Okay. You gotta avoid him for a bit. No! No! Avoid! Okay. No, wait. Get away. Oh, shit. He just, like, blows right through it. Oh my god. Get away. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. No. Not what I want! And you, no! Oh! You asshole! Oh shit, I keep accidentally doing the wrong button. Okay. No. No. No, 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 no! Oh, fuck! Did he? Oh, wait, he's gone. Nope. Oh my god. Oh my god!
I knew we'd manage.
That's so?
I didn't!
Tell me before.
I didn't know we would manage!
Intuition.
Oh my god!
Script witch.
Oh my god!
Underestimated.